Fox 10 News.
Okay, right now, a news alert tonight out of western Arizona. We've confirmed a train derailment along I-14 near Topak. The Mojave County Sheriff's Office is telling Fox 10 the train was reportedly carrying hazardous materials. However, there are no reports at this time of any spills. National Transportation Safety Board and BNSF Railway have been notified, and they are responding to investigate this derailment. As soon as we learn more tonight, we will let you know. The Canal killings trial continues today, and today a psychologist took the stand to explain why she diagnosed Brian Patrick Miller with a disorder associated with serial killers.
He's accused of killing 2 young women back in the 90s, but wasn't arrested for more than 20 years using DNA technology. And a warning, some of today's testimony was graphic. Here's Nicole Garcia.
Brian Patrick Miller's attorneys are arguing that he's not guilty by reason of insanity. Earlier during the trial, a forensic psychologist testified that Miller has been diagnosed with a laundry list of mental disorders, including dissociative amnesia. But another psychologist testified this week that Miller is likely a sexual sadist and that he has control over his behavior. Brian Patrick Miller is facing the death penalty if convicted. 22-year-old Angela Brasso and 17-year-old Melanie Burness were both riding their bikes along the Arizona Canal in North Phoenix when they disappeared. Their bodies later found mutilated and decapitated.
Well, any kind of cutting and desecration of the body is more consistent with somebody who has sexual sadism.
How about decapitation?
Definitely more likely with the sexual sadist.
Miller, an only child raised by his mother, told doctors he suffered ongoing physical, emotional, and sexual abuse and was regularly exposed to sexual violence at a young age. The defense says Miller was in a traumatic dissociative state and does not remember the killings. However, an expert for the prosecution says the murders appear to be the work of someone who gains pleasure from inflicting extreme pain and suffering on another person.
If sadism is a learned behavior, can a person control his or her actions?
100% always.
And tomorrow, prosecutors are expected to call another psychologist to the stand who'll testify that Miller was sane and carefully planned the murders. Miller's ex-wife is also expected to take the stand later this month. I'm Nicole Garcia, Fox 10 News.
An Arizona man behind bars accused of killing his parents in Gila County. 19-year-old Hunter Stanfield charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in connection with the death of his parents. 39-year-old Chase and 50-year-old Gail Stanfield both were found dead in their homes just north of Payson back in October.
A police shooting today in Mesa, and new video from a witness who saw it happen from her home.
This is Mesa Police Department. I need you to keep your hands up at all times and follow our commands. Do it now.
That happened near University and Drive and Alma School Road. Reports of shots fired came in around 7 this morning, and when officers got there, they say the suspect fired at them. They exchanged fire, hitting the suspect at least once. He was taken to the hospital. We spoke to one witness trying to make sure her family was safe, including her dog.
Just get to safety more than anything. Just make sure my dog's out of the way and we're out of, shot range as well. So that was my biggest thing. My biggest concern was just getting me and my dog to safety and making sure me and my family are good.
No word on the suspect's condition tonight, but we're told no officers were hurt.
Former Arizona Congresswoman Gabby Giffords continues to push for gun safety. Today, she joined Michigan lawmakers for a gun reform rally. This comes a month after a gunman opened fire on the campus of Michigan State University, killing 3 students. While calling for change, Giffords sharing her own experience. She was, of course, badly hurt at a mass shooting at a Tucson supermarket that killed 6 people in 2011.
We are living challenging times. We are up to the challenge. My own work has taken years. Many people have helped me along the way, and I learned so much. I learned when people care for each other and work together, progress is possible, the world is possible.
Today's rally did draw counter-protesters against gun control restrictions.
A big meeting today about security at the border, one day after Mexico's president claimed his country is safer than the U.S. Republican lawmakers want to know what the situation is really like, especially after last weekend when a mob of migrants crossed a bridge trying to get into El Paso, Texas. Here's Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz.
I have 9 southwest border sectors from San Diego to here, South Texas, Rio Grande Valley. 5 of those southwest border sectors are experiencing a higher level of flow than we have seen previously, and that creates some unique challenges for us, and it puts a strain on the overall immigration system.
Ortiz says it's common for him to have to relocate resources and personnel to areas experiencing an influx of migrants.
Lawmakers in Arizona working to address Alzheimer's and other types of dementias in the state. A bill introduced in the state Senate would create dementia-specific positions at the Department of Health Services. It would create a specific plan on the state's coordinated response to address Alzheimer's in Arizona. Lawmakers want to treat the disease as a public health issue, focusing on early detection, diagnosis, and support for family and caregivers.
Growing numbers of Alzheimer's is really growing at an alarming rate. Others have said that, right, by 2030, you'll see almost 1 in 5 adults will be 65% and older.
There is no cure for Alzheimer's. In Arizona, it's the 4th leading cause of death, and we have the highest growth rate in the country due to the state's rising retired population.
The future of a popular abortion pill is on the line inside a Texas courtroom. A federal judge could force the drug off the market nationwide. It's called mifepristone. The 2-pill regimen accounts for more than half of all abortions in the U.S. And a coalition of pro-life groups are suing, demanding the FDA rescind its approval. But critics claim getting rid of the pills would only drive up surgical abortions. The Biden administration is preparing for either outcome.
The decision could be unprecedented, of course, and devastating to women's health, and we may find ourselves in uncharted territory once again.
The judge could also issue a temporary injunction stopping sales until the lawsuit is settled.
The internet is having a negative impact on teen girls around America.
One expert calls it a weapon of mass destruction for innocent children. Fox's Jillian Turner explains.
About 3 years ago, I started posting a lot about mental health because I have bipolar.
19-year-old Allie Drake says being a teenager today means you live your life on social media.
No one's ever asked me for my number. It's always been like, hey, do you have Snapchat?
She explains that social media provides context necessary for real life.
Without social media, you would probably never really understand what people are even talking about in conversations.
Like many girls, Allie posts about her struggles in order to connect with people her age, even when screen time makes her feel bad about herself. American teens rack up an average of 4 hours per day on social media outside of school, some spending nearly 2 hours on TikTok and an hour and a half on Snapchat. Girls' social media apps of choice are TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat. They're likelier than boys to use all 3. Last month, teen activist Emma Lemke told lawmakers that social media apps are weapons of mass destruction for teens' mental health.
As the status quo creates it, I, a 12-year-old girl, could go onto Instagram and research a healthy recipe and within seconds be fed pro-anorexic content.
Dr. Delaney Rustin, creator of hit documentary Screenagers, agrees.
The ways that girls are socially inclined to higher levels of comparisons, low self-esteem related to body image, and the list goes on.
She explains girls are exposed to more of what she calls looks-based content, pushed by the algorithms, and that's a big problem.
They're on average looking at very different content. One is much more looks-based and all the makeup tutorials and things like that.
Experts tell us girls should be aware of all those beauty tutorials that proliferate on social media, as well as trends and challenges that promote disordered eating and elite lifestyles and particular skin colors. In Washington, Jillian Turner, Fox News.
TikTok is planning to add a new feed exclusively for STEM content. According to TikTok, the space will be dedicated to videos related to science, technology, engineering, and math to inspire and inform users. It'll be available later this month. The announcement comes after a group of senators introduced a bill that would crack down on TikTok and other foreign-based tech companies that could pose security risks.
100 million Americans are on TikTok an average of 90 minutes a day. That data is residing in China, no matter what TikTok says.
Some skeptics say it may be just a way to ward off growing criticism regarding the app's alleged mental health and national security concerns.
Concern over the banking industry has spread from the U.S. to Europe and Switzerland's second largest bank. Shares of Credit Suisse plunged today by more than 20%. It happened after the bank's largest investor, the Saudi National Bank, announced it would no longer buy shares because of regulatory limits. That prompted a sell-off, which led to a pause in trading in the Swiss market and sent shares of other European banks tumbling, some by double digits.
Credit Suisse is going to fail. Let it fail. I mean, my whole point is we should have let Silicon Valley Bank fail, Signature Bank fail.
It comes after the two mid-sized banks failed in the U.S., Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. The turmoil has prompted some lawmakers to want to bring back tougher regulations that followed the Great Recession. Get a snack from Shaq. The basketball great opens a second Big Chicken restaurant here in the Valley. Where it is and what's on the menu.
Help from a hockey team, how the Arizona Coyotes pitched in to help build a new home for a family in need.